Hello my friends, if you're new here, my name is Sam. Thank you so much as always for turning on this video. Today we have something, a little bit of fun. We're working on some hip mobility, some active hip mobility, and maybe a few balance challenges in there as well. So working to take the hips through a full range of motion just to see where we end up. We'll be balancing on one leg, we'll be balancing on the hands, we'll be reaching back to catch things, we'll be jumping, we'll be doing all sorts of stuff. So if you've got 2 blocks, they will come in handy. This isn't, I guess, a beginner focused class. It will work a little better if you've got a little bit of experience on the mat and if you're familiar with some of our yoga poses that we generally tend to practice here on this channel. Other than that, I'm happy you're here. Thank you so much for joining. Do let me know in the comment section below where you're practicing, where in the world you're coming from. It's so exciting to me to see people coming from Ecuador, from Costa Rica, from Poland, from the UK. So if you're practicing from somewhere far out, or anywhere's far out for me here in Australia, so if you're from anywhere else, even if you're from down the road, let me know below. And when you're ready, we'll get right into it. So we'll begin standing at the top of the mat, and I just want you to feel your way into your feet first. So if you look down, step 2 big toes to touch, spread the toes out nice and wide. Then as they soften back down, flex the quadriceps and feel the shoulders moving down away from the ears as the crown of the head lifts up towards the ceiling. Taking a few conscious breaths here with the eyes closed. And as yogi as it may sound, just to arrive on your mat. Once you step onto your mat, let the 4 corners, the rectangle of your mat, be your island of challenge today. And as we move our way around the mat, you will be challenged. And every time you're on your mat, it is up to you if you want to take the challenges or if today you feel you don't need them. But let that decision be yours. Take a breath. Gentle as you let it go. If not already, stand towards the top of the mat. And use the next inhale to let the arms rise overhead. Full in breath with the hips press forward slightly as the arms move up and back. And as you exhale, we'll fold heavy over the front of the thighs. Being here for a moment, a little shift out through the feet. Let one knee bend, let the opposite leg straighten. Do that from side to side. Really allow the head to drop nice and heavy here. No longer holding tension. Signaling to the brain that it is okay to relax by drawing chin in towards the chest a little bit more. From here, halfway lift, in breath. And step the left leg back first, as long as you can. Ground the palms, step the right leg back. And we come through to a plank, warming up through sun sal. So a little push-up added here, chest to floor. Press it straight back up before lowering to the ground and taking Bhujangasana Cobra. Feel the feet press down and the knees lift as you rise. Inhale. Exhale, drops the head. We tuck the toes and push up and back to downward facing dog. Just like you did in the first forward fold, move into the legs. As mentioned, we are going to work on controlling our pace today. What that means is instead of moving through or flying through each posture, we're going to think about how we're getting there. We're going to try and control the transition between postures. And we're going to try and arrive safely and with a sense of care. Less urgency, you could say. Settle to stillness, take an in-breath. Let it out. And rise high on the toes.
As you look forwards, walk slowly towards the top of the mat. Feet arrive between the hands. Halfway lift on the in-breath. Exhale to fold heavy over the front of the thighs. Then come all the way up through standing. Use the in-breath to reach the arms overhead like we did before. Exhale is the reset. Hands draw through center. Arms settle down by the side. Then again we move. The inhale lifts us. The exhale folds us heavy. We lift halfway as we inhale. This time right leg steps back nice and long, followed by the left. Coming through your plank, we'll take that push up again, chest all the way to the floor, pressing it straight back up. This time lowering halfway. We hold in Chaturanga Dandasana for a moment before we untuck the feet, then work to straighten the arms. Shoulder blades draw down the back, chest lifts forward, take a breath. Exhale, we lift, hips up and back. Find our downward facing. This time we aim just to be still. Breath slows down. Movement slows. We allow ourselves to just be. In a moment, as we work our way to the top of the mat, we're going to work to take a gentle hop, but we really want to keep the palms flat and try to land with the feet flat as well. So once the feet lift, it's the arms doing most of the work. You want to push through the hands so the shoulder blades elevate. You look forwards, and inhale lifts the heels and bends the knees. On the exhale, you take a gentle hop. Halfway lift the inhale. Exhale to fold forwards. Come all the way up through standing. Arms circle overhead. Exhale, we draw hands through center and let the arms drop down. Nice one. Continue to flow. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, fold forwards over the thighs. As you inhale, lift the chest halfway. If you want to play with something a little more energetic this time, we can work to hop back to Chaturanga. It's a bent arm movement, so to get there, bend the knees first, get nice and low, elbows bent, and then instead of jumping, think about sliding the feet back as the elbows bend. Nice one. Upward facing dog as you inhale. Take it back, downward facing dog. When we get there, right leg will rise. Use an inhale to lift it. Then roll the hip open, keep the leg straight for a moment, see if the left heel can get a little lower to the floor, and then bend the knee. Squeeze the heel in towards the bottom and feel the knee lift higher. So you're opening the left hip as much as you can by allowing the right hip to stack on top. Take an inhale. Then look forwards. We'll lift high on the left toes. Pull the right knee through chest. We're going to roll forward, step that right foot just between the hands. We get there, let the back heel drop down, take both hands inside the right foot for a moment, sit nice and deep, preparing the legs for warrior two. And then we rise, left arm leads the way. We come on up. We're going to find today an energetic mudra. Take the thumb and the third finger, place them together, spread the arms out wide, let the palms face up. This is known as Surya Ravi Mudra. Aim is to balance the energies between fire and earth. So that grounding energy from the earth and that fire or heating energy as we move throughout the mat. We come back to stillness. We find our Surya Ravi Mudra. Maybe we allow the eyes to close. We allow ourselves to just experience the space that we are in. What that means is we're not concerned about what happens afterwards. We forget what happened before. We allow ourselves to just be here. Last inhale. Stay for the out breath. And we're going to press to straighten the front leg. Once we do, front toes will lift off the mat. Then you look towards the left foot. Let the left toe shuffle out a fraction. We're going to bend into the left knee. Still have that Surya Ravi Mudra. Arms reach out in front, hips sit nice and low. Right toes lift off the mat. Left foot is grounded flat. If you have the availability without using the hands,
you can set the hips onto the floor. Only thing, that means you have to get up in a moment without using the hands as well. Keep flexing the right toes towards you. Left foot is flat. If bottom is on the ground, we lean forwards. See if the hips can rise. Nice work. Then without using the hands, we're going to make our way around towards a lunge. When we get there, both palms are going to ground flat. We're going to squeeze the right heel in towards the bum and take the right knee. Let it tap the back of the right arm. Just be here. Push through both hands for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Extend the right leg back without it touching the floor. Lean forwards, take a push up, chest to floor. Press straight back up. This time lower all the way down to the belly. Right foot is still hovering. We draw the chest forwards, squeeze the left heel in towards the bottom again. Right foot is still hovering. Reach back with the left hand, see if you can catch the left ankle. Then extend the right arm out in front of you, Surya Ravi Mudra. Kick the left shin back into the left hand to lift the chest. So left toes are making their way towards the back wall of the room. Right fingers trying to make their way to the front wall of the room. And that right leg is lifting, so too the right arm. Take a breath. Hold for the exhale. Then gently release the left leg. Take hands down by the low ribs. We're going to press up through cobra pose first. And as the feet press down and the knees rise, we push off the floor for upward facing dog. Breathe in. Exhale. We take it back. Downward facing dog. Nice work. Find your breath. Take an inhale. Let it out. And then left leg rises nice and high. Inhale. Roll the hip open. Keep the leg straight for a moment. Try to sink the right heel closer to the floor and then bend into your left knee. Keep allowing that left knee to rise. As the right hip opens, take an in-breath. Be there for the breath out. And we rise high on the right toes. Draw left knee through chest. We look forwards. Work to step the left foot between the hands. Back heel drops down. We take both hands inside the left foot for a moment. Try to find that depth, find that range. Then to come to warrior 2. Right hand leads the way. Circle it up and overhead. Find our mudra again, thumb and first finger. So seldom in my own practice, my movement practice, do I play with specific mudras. But this right here has actually been calling to me over the last month or so. And I've found myself here more often than not without even thinking. So maybe that's my body's way of sending me a subtle message that I need to balance that fire and earth energy within me. Maybe that's the case. Maybe not. Either way, we're here. Take a breath. Let it out. And press to straighten the front leg. Look back at the right toes. They shuffle out a fraction. Then you bend into the right knee as you're coming down. Reach the arms out in front. Still finding that same mudra if you can. If the hips are close to the floor, you let them settle down. But you still keep all that activity in the legs. Left foot flexing. Right foot is firm and flat. And if bottom is on the ground, we try to, without using the hands, lean forwards. See if the hips can rise. If that didn't work, don't worry, that's more about ankle mobility than anything else. Without using the hands, come around to the top of the mat, then palms ground flat. We squeeze the left heel into bum, keep the left knee and the back of the left arm together. Here for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. Take the left leg back, it's hovering. Find your push-up. And as you lower onto the belly, pull the chest forwards, squeeze the right heel to bum, left foot still hovering. Right hand finds the ankle, kick the shin back. As you reach the left arm out in front, Surya Ravi Mudra. Right shin kicks back into the right hand. Left leg, left arm, try to lift the same height as each other. Take a full inhale. Let it out. And release the right leg, hands by the low ribs. Look forwards, press through cobra, push off the floor for upward facing inhale. Exhale, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog.
Nice one. Gently lift the heels. Drop the knees down for a moment. If you do have blocks, leave them towards the top of the mat. You won't want them here in a moment. I'm going to offer here an option, if you will, to take a little more of an active approach to get towards the top of the mat. Think of this like an evolution of that hop forwards. We can work to maybe catch a little bit of hang time upside down. The concept of going upside down is always a little bit scary when you think about handstands, so I always like to make it as small as possible. So we're going to think about the tuck shape, which is essentially like a child's pose. If you were to tuck your toes and move into a child's pose, you would feel the ribs and the thighs get really close towards each other. You would feel the heels and the bottom get really close towards each other, and your arms would be nice and straight. So that's the shape we're going to find upside down. If you've never practiced it before, look towards the screen. This is what it would look like. A shorter downward facing dog. Arms are doing a lot of the work, so you push away from the floor. Shift gaze between the hands. Heels rise, knees bend, that's a breath in. When you exhale, just think about drawing the heels to the bum and the hips over the shoulders. So the knees stay nice and close. The heels stay in towards the bum. The arms are straight and the gaze is down between the hands. Now it absolutely may not look like this. If you've never practiced it before, it will probably look a little something like this. Little hops. Notice the arms stay straight, the knees stay together, and the heels draw in towards the bottom. So that's what we're working with. You absolutely don't need to play with that. It could be a gentle hop forward, it could be a slow walk to the top of the mat, whatever you choose, however you choose to get there. We're going to think about it lasting 5 breaths. So it could just be 5 gentle hops for you. It could be 5 slow steps, or it could be 5 seconds upside down. From downward facing dog, take a breath together. Let it out. And look forwards. Lift heels, bend knees, see where you end up. Four more breaths. For 3. For 2. And last breath, inhale. And as you exhale, feet land between the hands. We fold forwards at the top of the mat. If you did find some hang time, it might feel nice to stand on the palm of the hands here, taking the toes all the way up to the creases of the wrist, lifting halfway as you breathe in. Letting the exhale fold you forwards. Nice work. Release the hands. If you've got your blocks there, just set them in front of the feet on the highest side. We'll start to slowly come up towards standing. So we're preparing for some one-legged balance here. We're going to be standing on the left leg, working to open the right hip. So just have your feet about 30 centimeters, call that 12 inches behind the blocks. Standing on the left leg, gaze forwards. You bring the right knee to chest. As the right knee rises, in a moment we're going to try and externally rotate this right hip. What that means is the right foot will start to lift towards the left-hand side of the room. You're trying to do this while keeping that right knee in one straight line, and it's tricky. So it may move a little, it may move a lot. Keep the foot flexing. Trying to lift it a little bit higher. Nice work. And then we cross the right ankle under the left thigh. We're going to sit back into a single leg chair. If you can, find that Surya Ravi Mudra, thumb and third finger together. Bum moves back as the arms reach out. I'm going to be here around 3 to 5 breaths. I want you to explore your depth. So keep sitting into the left leg. Keep the right foot flexing if you can. And just explore the depth. See what's available for you.
Take one last breath in. Hold for the exhale. And wherever you are, push through the left foot. We come back up to stand and set the right leg down. Nice work. Little shake out through the feet and the ankles. Excellent. Always a challenge, always fun, always sucks a little bit. Good thing is, we did it together and now it's done. Later we just have to do the opposite leg. Circle the arms up, reach them tall, breathing. Exhale, we're going to fold over the thighs. Halfway lift on the inhale, rest your hands against the blocks. This time right foot's going to stay where it is. We're going to flex the left toes towards our face. Just hover the left foot as best we can. Then in a moment we're going to try and just open this left leg out to the left hand side as much as we can without it moving backwards. So you press into the right hand more as the left leg starts to open. You might like to come up onto the fingertips and you might be able to lift it higher. Maybe your legs look like a 90-degree angle. Mine are roughly a 30-degree angle. A little bit tricky for myself, but maybe you have a little more success here. Take an inhale. Maybe it lifts higher. And from here, we start to open that hip. So left leg extends to the back of the room. Bend in to the right knee. Touch back to the legs of Warrior 2. Nice work. Surya Ravi Mudra. Move over to the left leg. Sit deep in the left leg. Reach the arms out in front. Nice work. In a moment, we're going to use this left leg to squat. So take a breath in. On the exhale, push through the left leg. Come all the way up to stand. And then lower back down. 2 more times. An inhale at the bottom. And exhale to lift us. 1 more time. An inhale at the bottom. The exhale lifts you up. And then parallel your feet. They're flat. Take the hands to support the low back. Fingers point up. Glutes firm. Hips press forward. As shoulder blades draw back, we lift the chest. And on an exhale, we press the thighs back to fold forwards. Take hands down to the mat, in line with the feet if available. Lift the chest halfway. And exhale to bend the elbows and fold down a little more. We still have an element of quadricep or thigh muscle engagement here, so you are flexing the quads to feel the kneecaps lift. That might give you a little more space in the front of the hip to bend the elbows and fold forwards a little more. Nice work. Halfway lift on the inhale. From here, just turn your right toes towards the top of the mat. Take a little bend in the right knee. And we're going to walk the hands towards the top. Right hand's going to find the block there on the right hand side. I'm going to shuffle the left foot up just a step or two. And then with the left hand on the left hip, slide the block out a little further, lean forwards and work to lift the back left leg off the mat. Flex the toes towards the face. Feel the leg lifting higher. And as you push through the right block, wrap the left shoulder blade onto the back. If you have more space, like we did when we were on the belly, we squeeze the left heel in towards the bottom, reach back with the left hand, see if we can search for the ankle. And if we've got it, we kick the shin back into the hands to bow open the front of the body a little bit more. As best you can, right thigh muscles active. Breath, calm and steady. Last breath in. And gently release the left leg back first, so coming through that half moon. Then gently both hands, both feet fold to the top of the mat. Nice work. Take a halfway lift, a little pedal out through the feet when you get there. Exhale, we fold forwards heavy. This time just bend the knees, wrap your arms around the back of the legs. Give yourself a little hug. We'll start to roll all the way up through standing. So nice work. In a moment we play with that single leg chair here on the opposite side. and then we don't have to do it again because we only have 2 legs and we've already done 1. So this time we're going to be balancing on the right leg. I want you to find your gaze first. Lift the left knee in towards the chest so that the thigh is parallel to the floor. Flex the foot. And without the knee moving, start to externally rotate that left hip like you were trying to lift the inside of the left foot towards the ceiling. And again, it might lift a little or a lot, doesn't really matter. You just play with that action. And then cross left ankle on the right thigh. Surya Ravi Mudra. Arms reach out in front of you. Hips move back in space. Arms reach out in front. And again, 3 to 5 breaths. You just work to explore your depth and see what is available. Keep the left foot flexing. Keep that energetic mudra. Take one last inhale. And wherever you are, and come all the way back up to stand. Wow! Shake out the legs. That one will really force you to work. Right, a little bit of a head spin, slow down the breath. Our bodies are capable of so much, but we rarely ask of them their max effort. And that's not often the priority in yoga, to always give your max effort. Sometimes it's more about slowing down. Every now and then it's good to explore, see what is available. Once we've found our breath, next inhale, arms rise high. Exhale, we fold over the thigh. Then halfway lift, find your blocks, in breath. This time left foot stays where it is. You flex the right toes towards the face, let the right foot hover. Then you just start to open the right leg out to the right hand side of the room. Without it moving backwards, try to keep the toes moving forwards. And then lift a little more, try and push through the left hand a little more, see if that helps. Maybe rise onto the fingertips if you haven't already. Take an inhale. Hold for the breath out. One more in breath, lift the leg. Then just start to extend the right leg to the back of the room. Left hip starts to open. Bend the left knee slowly. Touch back to the legs of Warrior 2. Nice work. Surya Ravi Mudra, both hands. We start to bend into the right knee. We sit deep. Nice work. Left toes are rising. In a moment, it's the exhale that lifts us. Take an in-breath. Exhale, we rise and lower back down. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, we lift. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, we rise. Nice work. Parallel the feet again. Feet are flat. This time interlace the hands behind the back. Roll the shoulder blades back. Let the fists slide down the back of the hips as the chest rises. Breathe in. And on the exhale, thighs move back as we fold over. And we keep as much action in the quadriceps as we can. We still feel kneecaps lifting as we fold forwards a little more. Take last inhale. Before you release the hands, let them soften to the tailbone first. Then as they lower down to the floor, we take a halfway lift as we breathe in. And left toes turn to the front of the mat. We start to walk the hands forwards. Left hand searches for that block on the left hand side. We shuffle the right foot up a step or two. And as you take your right hand to the right hip, we slide the block out in front of us as we lift the back right leg. Starting to rotate open that left hip so you feel the right hip stack on top. Try and roll the right shoulder blade onto the back a little more. If you're happy here, you stay, or you squeeze the right heel in towards the bottom. Reach back with the right hand and search for the ankle. And we kick, kick, kick the shin back. Start to bow open the front of the body.
Be here for one last inhale. If you've got the ankle, gently release it first, and then both hands, both feet, fold forwards. Nice work. Pedal out through the feet here. You can keep the hands on blocks to shift from side to side. Maybe even roll off on the outside edges of the feet to feel that outer part of the ankle start to get a stretch out. You set the feet flat, lift the chest halfway. You shuffle the feet out a little wider, specifically toes turning out wider than the heels. Sit down towards a squat. When you get there, I encourage you to let your arms move inside your legs and to let your chest drop down nice and low. Lean forwards a little, really working on that dorsiflexion of the ankle. And as the chest lifts, we're going to sit the bottom down onto the mat. Take the hands behind the back. Try to pivot or balance on your heels, I should say. In a moment, we'll pivot on the heels. But have the knees bending, the toes turning out to either side, and with the hands behind you, just let both knees drop over to the right-hand side of the room. And we don't want this left knee to run into the right ankle, so if they're on top of each other, you shuffle that right foot out a little wider to the right-hand side. Feel the chest opening. And then pivot on the heels, lift up and over to the left-hand side. Both knees fall to the left. And we just start the windscreen wiper action. So moving from one side to the next, trying to pivot on the heels. You can start to slowly lift one hand off the mat as you shift from side to side. And if that works and that feels okay, you just start to lift both hands. Surya Ravi Mudra, palms face up. If nothing else, this energetic lock just gives us something to focus on. We can easily become overwhelmed when taking a lot of physical instruction. When overwhelmed or flooded with information, the mind can become distracted. So if we can give ourselves one single point of focus, it may help to keep us in the practice a little bit longer. One more other side. Nice work. Maybe you get a little glute massage during that as well. Come back through center, soles of feet together, knees wide. You can rest the hands just to the front of the ankles here. Imagine you're pulling the legs towards you to lift the chest up higher. Breathe in. As you exhale, work to fold forwards. And maybe working to take the elbows in front of the ankles of the shins. Rest the hands flat on the floor. You can interlace the fingers, take them around the feet or the toes if that works for you. Somewhere that's going to allow you to fold. Really embrace a rounding in the spine here, a dropping of the head. And start to rise back up. So we're going to take the left foot and try and draw it nice and close towards the right hip. And then pick up the right foot, pop it on the outside of the left thigh. Right fingers behind you, reach the left arm up, breathe in. The exhale, we hook the elbow outside the thigh and try and twist back over the right shoulder. Using the right fingertips to try and prop you up and sit you nice and tall. Using the leverage of that left arm to try and draw you around a little bit more. Last inhale. Come back through center and just swap the legs. So we'll unravel. Right heel will get nice and close to the left hip. Left foot will rest outside the right thigh. Left fingertips behind you. Right arm rises. Breathe in. Exhale, we hook. And we twist. We take our time to find the twist. We're not going to get super deep right away. That's okay. Just working to round off and close off the practice here. Let the breath begin to slow down. Last inhale. Come back through center. The legs extend out nice and long.
And then adjust the hips, so you might like to lift and lower the hips. With the feet out nice and long, a little bend in the knees, lift the chest, raise the arms, breathe in. The exhale, we work to fold. Just creating a relationship between upper and lower body. No point locking out at the knee if hamstrings are super tight and the torso starts to lift away from the thighs. So try to keep those two together nice and close. Take an inhale. And rise back up to a seat. Take the feet a little wider here. Try to keep the feet flexing. So we're going to lower down to stillness. We're going to try and get there with a little bit of control. So the quads are going to stay flexed, the feet are going to stay flexed. As we reach the arms out in front, there's a rounding through the spine. Bring the chin towards the chest. Start to roll down slowly. Feel each vertebra rest against the earth. And when you feel the shoulder blades hit the mat, let the knuckles rest down, let the toes fall out, let the head rest down. Thank your legs for putting up with the journey you took them through. Thank yourself for getting on your mat, for keeping your awareness, keeping your energy, your attention on your little island of challenge today. Thank yourself if you did embrace the challenge. Also thank yourself for listening to your body if today you didn't need to challenge yourself that much. Whatever it was for you, thanks for being a part of the experience. From me to you, a thanks. Peace.